welcome to today's episode of Afro Scientific Spirituality. My name is Ife West. If this is your first time on the channel, you are highly welcome. This is a place where we separate the facts from the fiction, the science from the superstitions, and the concept from the misconceptions about African spirituality. Today, I am going to be talking about 7 major ways of hosting spiritual powers in African spirituality. This is a medium whereby we use to absorb or ingest spiritual powers or spiritual properties of substance or compounds or enzymes in our African spirituality. When we come to the subject of African spirituality, it's basically the study of nature, the process of interacting, communicating, or harmonizing ourselves with the various elements or things that can be found in the natural environment. These can be things from the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, and the earth, quite naturally. Of course, everything that is inside the earth, inside, within, without, including us human beings, we have to interact with them. When it comes to the area of spell working, we have different ways that we use to be able to harmonize our physical nature with those of other elements. And we have different ways of doing this. Today I'll be talking about 7 popular ways whereby we can interact with spiritual entities, or we can be able to extract the spiritual properties of various substances and use them for our prosperity, protection, or our personal projects. One way you're going to see this being done in African spirituality, which is very popular as well, is the use of what we call amulets or bangles or necklace, or just simply things that physical items that have been infused with spiritual energy that people carry around them or people wear on them. So in the practice of African spirituality, you're going to see a lot of people wearing different kind of amulets, different type of rings or necklaces, or carrying spiritual items which have been infused or ingested with spiritual energy. So we have spiritual amulets, spiritual items. We also have fetish items or totems. These are symbols representing deities, representing various African gods or African spirits. So these items have been consecrated in ritualistic settings to infuse some of the essence of these spirits or these deities or various spells that we want them to have. They have been infused into these items. So you're going to see items, they have amulets for protection or for different purposes. It can be for guidance, it can be for favor, it can be for love, it can be for whatever thing you want it to be. They just create this item, they infuse the energy of whatever they want into it. Then people carry the items around with them. So we call this kind of things jazz or shams in African spirituality. So we have them. They can be inside rings, they can be in wristwatch, they can be in necklaces. They can also be in weapons like knife or cutlasses, machete. There are machetes that have been consecrated with different type of spells, so that when they are used to cut somebody or something, it's going to go through. There are people that have this sort of protection spell that you can't cut them with a knife or broken glass. Nothing can penetrate their skin. So people also do enchantments on knives and cutlasses so that they can be able to use it to cut this kind of people, stuff like that. We also have necklaces or rings or amulets that are like sort of protection against gunshots, whereby somebody try to shoot them, the bullet will not affect them or it will not work. We have stuff like that. Then we have people that carry amulets for favor and for protection, for different kind of things. You're going to find these sort of things in African spirituality. So one way of carrying spiritual powers is to put them into items, then take it with you. Then another way again whereby people can ingest spiritual powers is the use of tribal insertions. We see this a lot in West Africa, whereby insertions are made on the skin with sharp objects like razor blade or knife to open a little wound on the body. Then this stuff, then the spiritual items are rubbed into it, are put into the body. So this way, the spiritual properties of that spell will enter into the body of the person. Okay, so that way the person doesn't need a ring, he doesn't need a necklace. It is always in the body of the person, and it can protect the person. So we see a lot of these insertions being made in different spiritual practices. We see it in Voodoo, we see it in Igbe, we see it in Orisha system, we see it in Palu Mayombe, whereby different kind of marks are cut on the body of the individual. Then the kind of spell that they want to do for the person will be rubbed into those injuries, so that it will become part of the person's body, and it will be protecting this. This is very popular in Nigeria, in Ghana. We see young children when they are born, the parents take them to this Dibia place and they do this. It is very, very popular in Nigeria. So one good thing with this is that it's not like you do the spell in a ring or necklace that can easily get lost, that the person have to be conscious of or wear every time. This ones, they put it in the body, so it becomes part of the individual, it becomes permanent on the body. This one is much more stronger because it's also in direct contact with the blood. It becomes part of the person's body, and it also lasts longer too. Some of these spells, they last for a lifetime, and some of these spells are very, very powerful and effective. Most times the compounds or the mixtures are actually bound together in a ritualistic settings. Then the ashes of the compound is what is rubbed into the body of the person. Okay, so you're going to see this a lot in a lot of African spirituality practice in West Africa, making of body insertions and things are being rubbed into them. You can also see this in scarification processes, whereby we have tribal tattoos that have been done on the body of the individual. Sometimes these tribal tattoos are done to mark the individual as a member of a particular tribe, so that when you see that specific mark on the individual, you will know that this person belongs to a particular tribe. This is used in the time past in West Africa to indicate what tribe a person belongs to, so that you will know who is your person and who is not your person, who belongs to you and who don't belong to you. Then nowadays people don't do it anymore because people don't want scars on their face, and most of these tribal marks, they are so long and so brazial, and it's kind of old-fashioned. People don't really want their children to be marked, so that practice has been stopped by so many people. In fact, they don't do it anymore in West Africa. If you go and do that on your kids now, people will get angry at you. It has been banned. People don't have scars, but in the olden times it was common due to intertribal war and different kind of issues. People put this scar on their face. This is one way of also ingesting spiritual properties of elements or spells into the body, so that it becomes part of the person's body, and this is how it is done. Then another way of doing this again is to drinking. This is a situation whereby the spells or the herbs, they are mixed into a bottle or into a liquid mixture, and the person have to drink it. This one is very, very common. We see this a lot in West Africa and in Central Africa. These spells, the person does not need to have any kind of insertions on the body, and also the person doesn't need to do something in the amulet or a chain. They just put it in a liquid form, and then you drink it, and it becomes part of the person body. So we use this in depend of different situations. Some of them last long, some of them don't last very long, but drinking of the spell in a liquid form is also a way of infusing or absorbing spiritual properties of elements. The fourth way is also eating of the spell. There are spells that have been prepared in a certain way that you cannot drink them, you have to eat them. So they can be prepared in a food format. The leaves can be mixed, different things can be mixed. The person will eat this thing into the body, and it will also become very, very effective. So people also use this method as well to ingest spiritual energy, spiritual properties, spells, and all sort of things. And this is also very popular in our African spirituality. You can see this is all the different practice. We do this every day. It is very easy to do most times, very, very easy to stop. The drinking and eating of the spells is very, very common. Most times these are usually for medicinal spells, for healing of sicknesses or ailments in the body. This is the way they use to heal or treat them. It is a sort of how we call it African alchemy, whereby the properties of this plant are mixed together. They might be boiled, they might be cooked or synthesized in whatever way to extract the enzymes from it, and then the person have to physically consume these extracted enzymes into it, just like taking pharmaceutical medicine. It is the same thing. So think of it as the earlier form of pharmacy before Western medicine try to change things to the way it is now. So before then, this is the way we used to do things in Africa. Okay, this is the earliest forms of medicine that we practice in Africa. Okay, then another way again of absorbing spiritual properties is by baiting. We also get the leaves or get the herbs or get whatever you want to do. Then we use this for spiritual baiting. Okay, this is the situation whereby the things are put in a bucket. Then the person have to do a spiritual bath. So it can be baiting to stop the progression of physical illness, or baiting to bait away misfortune, problems, or hardship, or any kind of thing that the person wants to bait out of the body. It can be bad luck, it can be favorable situations, it can be causes. So we use spiritual baths as a way of cleaning the body, cleaning the spirit, cleaning the soul. It's a way of also absorbing the spiritual properties of the element that we are baiting with. So spiritual baths are very, very common in the practice of African spirituality. We do this all the time. It is one way of cleaning the body against a spiritual attack. Okay, so you're going to find this it's very, very popular. It's highly recommended for everybody that practices African spirituality. From time to time, you have to do 1 or 2 spiritual baths to cleanse yourself. It is very, very important. If you practice this stuff, you will know about this very well. So it's one way of absorbing spiritual energy of the elements that we use in this spiritual bath to cleanse our body, spirit, and soul, and everything. Okay, then another way we also do this is by steaming. There's this practice that is done whereby the herbs is put inside a very big bucket, and the person will have to be covered with a cloth or with a thick blanket so that they can inhale the fumes that are coming out of this very big pot. So it is like a steaming method whereby the person will be there for like 10 to 15 minutes. it can be 3 people, it can be 4 people, depending on the size of the blanket. We do this a lot in West Africa, where we do this dogoyaro steam bath. Dogoyaro steam bath is a very powerful bath that we use for spiritual cleansing and also for treatment of malaria and other ailments. This is something that is very popular in West Africa. A lot of people know about this stuff. I don't know if I have talked about it extensively, but it's a way of absorbing the essence, the spiritual essence of the plant. So whereby a group of herbs is mixed into a bucket, then you will have to take a blanket, and the full family with the children, everybody will be on their rears, and they will cover this big blanket that will be inside. What it does is that as they are inhaling these fumes, it is purifying the body. It is actually cleaning any disease, any sickness that is inside. It can be jaundice, it can be fever, it can be typhoid, it can be malaria, or any sort of stuff that is affecting the people. It can be pandemic related issues, that thing that we are not allowed to mention. If you just sit down inside, and it will boil the body, cook them very, very well. So by the time you come out, everybody will be sweating. You're going to sweat every kind of illness out of the body. So when about 15 to 30 minutes, you remove the blanket, the person will be very, very free, relaxed. You'll be like a newborn baby. It's a very powerful stuff. So it's a way of ingesting the elements or the enzymes that are from this big pot of herb. So we use this a lot in West Africa. We use this a lot in Nigeria to absorb the spiritual properties of plants. Okay, so this is one way we do this. Then another way again is by repeating words of incantations. Maybe you this way you know some certain words of power or certain words that you can use to alter the vibration or increase your spiritual powers. By mentioning or reciting or repeating these sacred words, it can actually infuse certain qualities into the spirit or the mentality or the psychic of that person. So we have lots of incantations that people do to change situations. It can be incantations for prosperity, for protection, for love, for whatever reason. We also make use of incantations to invoke certain powers or to call certain powers. I know this will not make sense to many people, but it's a practice that people actually do in African spirituality and people believe in, and they do this. You can see incantations that people can make, and situations that they can be able to change situations for their own benefit very, very quickly. We have this kind of things in African spirituality. So it's one way of hosting spiritual powers, by knowing these words and by using them when you have to use them. Okay, another way of hosting spiritual powers or properties is by dedicating yourself to a deity. By dedicating yourself to a deity is sort of like a pacting in a ritualistic settings. You are actually making yourself like a vessel for hosting the spiritual properties or powers of that deity. So it is another way of actually hosting spiritual powers, by dedicating yourself to different deities and actually doing the work of those deities, or becoming like the physical representation for those deities on this head. So it also gives you some certain qualities of those deities, whereby you become like the representative of that of the agent, or how will I say, the devotee of that deity. So it's also a way whereby you host some of the powers or energetic qualities of those deities. So think of it like benefits of also venerating that deity, some of the benefits you get from doing that kind of things. So we have that situation in African spirituality as well. So these are some of the ways that we use to host spiritual powers or spiritual properties in African spirituality. There are other ways as well that we use, but those ones are more advanced, and I will not be able to explain it here. It's something that you grow into, and when you get to a certain level, you know that there are other ways that people can also do this as well. But these are the major ways, the 7 or 8 major ways that you're going to find that we use to ingest spiritual properties or spiritual powers or spiritual essences in African spirituality. So there you have it. I hope that this video is useful and informative to somebody. This is what I have to say today on this subject. So questions or comments are welcome. Like and share this video, share this channel. And if you are interested in learning more about African spirituality, I have a website called River of Knowledge. Very good website. You can register there. I will teach you the secrets of African spirituality from a pure Afrocentric perspective. And you're going to learn a lot of things that will empower you and also liberate you about what is really happening in the world today, and especially in the area of African spirituality. Then if you want to know the interrelationship between science and spirituality, I have been able to write a book on quantum physics and African spirituality from a pure Afrocentric perspective as well. You can get the book from me. It's an e-copy PDF. It's $25. You can order it as well. Then if you want to do your spell work, love spell, hexes, pacts, open doors, or the whole 9 yards, my number is on the screen. You can reach me. And please, only serious people may apply. Please don't call me that you tell me you don't have money, or you tell me you have emotional issues. It is not good. Only come when you are ready, and it will be better for everybody like that. With that being said, that I thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video as usual. So take care and bye. Peace.